when you say behind, like, I feel like you guys have been extremely accepted, though. I know there's some issues here. Like, obviously, there's like the trans people who have been murdered recently, and there's also been like a lot of homophobia in the community. But I think we are progressing a lot.
We are. We definitely are.
Yeah.
We are progressing a lot, but we do have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And that's just like when you hear. I know you probably hear in the entertainment business when people are like, "Oh, there's not enough business for black actresses and actors," and you probably hear that a lot because it's true, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in our community. There has been a lot of advancements that have been made, and we are making progression, but we still have a very, very long way to go, and probably I would probably go as far to say a longer way to go than any other community.
You think over all the rest of the communities? Because
as far as living in the United States, I would probably say that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Even over like the foreigners, like the Asian community.
Oh, definitely.
Really?
The Asian community, yeah.
I thought they were super strict about it because black people have been denouncing the church a lot recently, so I feel like that was one of the biggest reasons why it was so progressive. Yeah. I know a lot of other communities they don't denounce the church.
From my personal experience, I've seen that other communities definitely have surpassed when it comes to. I mean, I speak of my personal experience. My family has been very supportive and like surrounded me with love since I was young and since they had the idea that I was gay. So I'm just, my personal experience, I've seen that, but looking from the outside in, living as a black man, being as old as I am right now, from what I've seen in different, cultures and, communities and everything like that, and then looking at other black men in the community as well, like I just feel like there's there's just no progress.
I wrote a paper about this in college, and we were studying statistics on homelessness for youth. Youth that are most likely to be homeless is usually black queer kids or black trans kids.
Really?
Being kicked out of their
from
house.
Being kicked out of their home or experiencing violence from their family. So it's not something that people report on because, again, people don't give light to black people. They only give light to when, white queer kids are experiencing things in the sense of like how media works and the racism in media. But there's a lot of stories of black queer kids like being kicked out of their home, not being cared for, or being rejected. And they're less likely to get help because of that, and they're less likely to seek mental health because of it too.
I'll just say one more thing. There was a kid that just took his life, a young boy that just took his life, a young gay boy, and you would think it's 2019, Nigel, you would think that he would have, and he took his life. So.
And ironically, that have that portion in our series that we actually tackle youth who are being bullied in schools for just being out and open with they are. We have an actor that's doing that in this series.
Wow.
And I just thought about like how ironic that was that around the time that we are, putting out this series and working on it, that just happened. And just to know that like this is even more important that we put this out because who knows who's gonna be watching this, but whoever does watch it, they can see that you're being heard, you're out there, you can be loved. There's certain ways to go about it, just seeking help, seeking mentorship, being comfortable enough to do that. And it's our job in the community as older, people in the community to be more aware of that.
This is the black community or community at large.
I would say community at large because ironically the character that we have playing he's a Latino student. He's a young Latino student. And so, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to race and stuff like that. I want to make sure that we're really fluid in having that perspective. And we really, really hope that with this and moving forward with this, that it really opens up minds of heterosexuals and homosexuals where you can definitely cohabitate with one another without feeling like one is going to judge the other. It just has to have that understanding, and that respect, and everything else will move forward from there. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen between Christian and Ryan and my character, O'Shea's character, is you're going to see a mentorship happening where it's like, wow, who would ever think a hetero would be mentored by a gay, a gay black male? Statistically shown that a lot of black men are more successful when it comes to careers and stuff like that. They're dressed well. They have this dynamic with them that can be definitely, taught amongst heterosexual men.
Absolutely. But as we wrap it up, I want to go around really quick and ask 2 questions that we'll all answer as quick as possible. One, how can we show up better as allies? Okay. And 2, not that we will have the answers or create the answer today, but right now, what do you think would be the best way to combat this kind of life that's going on?
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to start first?
Yeah, or anybody. We can start. Anybody can go first.
Take it away.
You don't want to go first?
I think the first question was how to combat it.
How to be a better ally.
How to be a better ally. Mm-hmm. I think it's the taking the unconventional way of thinking. I think you have to open the dialogue and obviously have the conversation. I think that's one of the most. I think conversation's underrated. Mm-hmm. I think when I learn more about people, I have more respect for them typically. Mm-hmm. Like it shouldn't take you to have a gay brother or a gay best friend in order for you to kind of respect the community. Mm-hmm. I think that's a lot of people take. But it's a lot of people take that. That's the notion like, oh, I have a gay friend, so let me learn more about the community.
Like I have a black friend.
I have a black friend. Mm-hmm. I'm not racist all of a sudden.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's one thing. I think having that conversation to open that dialogue. I think for the community and the community that I'm a part of, the black community, I think it's really important to kind of tone down the masculinity aspect of it because it is very toxic and it does we have this patriarchy system that we still utilize, mm-hmm. and I don't want to have people at the bottom. I think when you think of like progressing and going to a certain point in your life, you have to be all black people matter essentially, mm-hmm. and you can't get nowhere without like leaving people behind, especially because everybody's an ally at that anyway. Absolutely. And then I think the way to second question was
how can we combat it now? Like, I mean, we probably just answered that.
You hooked it all up.
Thank you for that.
That was amazing.
I think for me, man, it comes down to showing love and just seeing each other as a human being. Like I said again, that's really what it comes down to. Like for me, I believe in God. Mm-hmm. So even like if you want to bring Jesus into it, like man, Jesus talked to the woman at the well, the prostitute. Like it's no take off the the judgment, take off with society, the stigmas that people place on us, and just you gotta show love as a human being, as a soul. Like we all have a soul. You feel me? So at the end of the day, man, we gotta come at each other like that. Yeah. So that's really what I believe in.
That was great, Chris and Marquis. Oh my gosh, the best way to combat it in my eyes is just everything that you guys just said. And having patience, I think having patience, I don't want to say tolerance because I don't want to feel like you're like suppressing yourself to like believe in something that's not supposed to be right? Mm-hmm. It's like, this is all right. Everyone, love is love, no matter who you love. It all just depends on, it all just factors in and comes down to, having that respect for each other. So as long as that's there, that's the best way to become an ally for it. You just putting judgment aside, just knowing that like you cry just as much as I cry, you bleed just as much as I bleed, and we can just take it from there, And absolutely. Another way to combat it is just make a web series. Create content, write a poem,
start a conversation,
write a book, create a podcast. Like to take different steps in your own true talent in a way where it's going to be, inclusive to everyone that's surrounding you, no matter what they like, who they like, and what they love and stuff.
Absolutely.
I feel like they just really said everything.
Right.
But what I will say that something that comes to mind is finding common ground. Mm-hmm. Right. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff that within our community as black men or however you identify that we can find common ground with. And, you just never know until you open a conversation. So having a conversation is also very, very important. I can't stress that enough. As well as leading with love. Like, with we said that Chris. you literally just I just had a blank. Right.
I got you. This about to call you Coach LB.
But that's what my page on Instagram is, just leading with love and just treating somebody the way you would want to be treated no matter what, putting yourself in their shoes. Yeah. Right? So I feel like there's a lot of stuff that within our community as black men or however you identify that we can find common ground with. And, you just never know until you open a conversation. So having a conversation is also very, very important. I can't stress that enough. As well as leading with love. Like, with we said that Chris. you literally just I just had a blank. Right, that's how I have Chris.
I got you. This about to call you Coach LB.
But that's what my page on Instagram is, just leading with love and just treating somebody the way you would want to be treated no matter what, putting yourself in their shoes.
Yes, I love it. Y'all are everything. I would say check in with your intention. Like start with your intention. Like if you're leading with love, always be like, okay, what am I trying to get out of this? Am I trying to go into this conversation to understand, or am I going into it to respond? Right? And understand that intersectionality is a real thing. So going back to what Chris said, with black men specifically, just start with, we are black men. Like, don't worry about what I'm doing in my bedroom. I'm not worried about what you're doing in your bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, or what I'm doing with my love life. Yeah. We right here are black men, so we are still dealing with the same struggles, no matter what sexuality you identify as. Like, we are still being suppressed and oppressed. So we're strong united. So let's just start there, common ground. Everything y'all said, lead with love, check in with your intention.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because this relationship, I mean, this split between the community is something that is been going on for a very long time. It's like generational, so it's not gonna be an easy process. However, you have to commit to it. You know, it's a torn relationship that you have to repair. It's like we're family. So when people are talking to you in a way that it triggers you, you also have to remember like, my response is as important as what they said. It could be a teachable moment, so you have to be patient and you have to understand where they're coming from, as well as be for the straight community to understand that this is something different that you have not encountered. You don't understand what people are dealing with. It's definitely not a choice. And that we have every right to exist as you do, and we are here for you just as much as you should be here for us.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Everything. Yes. So we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune into Preference, the web series. Yes. It's coming out this summer. Yes. And we also have, it's going to be everything. And tune into what? Yes. Yes. 3 people are here. You don't know who the third person is. And Welcome to the Table is coming back.
Yes.
Welcome to the
Table. We finished wrapping up in July.
Okay.
And then we should be dropping it the following month. So
summer. Yes, thank you for coming.
Of course.
Thank you guys so much for having us again.
Thank y'all for coming.
And also thank you for creating such an amazing show. Like it's very needed.
Welcome to the Table. Preference. Like we all have necessary, important conversations. So thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
All my friends.
Yes. Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening to Slick Talk. We will see y'all in 2 weeks. We love y'all.
Come on, doing the music.